Hey, what's up guys? It's Shoreside Jake here. Today we're actually going to do a video tutorial as far as cleaning our Kaloud Lotus. You recently saw the unboxing. We actually have a review coming up. We also have a tutorial how to set your Kaloud Lotus, general care instructions, things like that. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and show you how to clean the Kaloud Lotus. It's very important that you take proper care of it, otherwise you won't get the best experience out of your Kaloud Lotus. Sit back, relax, enjoy the video.
What are you guys doing? It's 6 a.m.
Shooting a video?
Are you serious? Babe.
As you can see, we have our Kaloud Lotus just about finished up here on our KM Hookah. But it's very important that you use precaution when you deal with the hot Kaloud Lotus, just because it gets extremely hot. I mean, you can just feel the heat coming off of this thing. It's just radiating off of it. So be very careful when dealing with this thing if you're ready to pack up a new bowl or if you're just finishing up your session. The first way that's actually very possible as far as removing your bowl and your Kaloud Lotus is being very gentle. Squeezing the bottom of your bowl firmly and lifting up. Being very careful to balance the Kaloud Lotus onto your bowl while you're transporting it to the sink or to your coal carrier or whatever. However, there's actually a safer way to do it. We have our coal carrier, as you can see. So what we're actually going to do is first we're going to make sure we use our handle that's on the lid of the Kaloud Lotus to remove the lid from the top of the Lotus. Go ahead and take these coals that are in here out. Most of them are just little tiny embers, so we don't have to really worry too much about burning ourselves, but you still got to remember these things are hot. And this entire unit here is actually extremely hot, so you want to be very careful and use precaution when you're dealing with it. So what we're going to do now is I like to use these Mia tongs just because they're flat rather than your more traditional tongs, the Egyptian tongs that have the teeth on the end. They don't quite fit in the slits on the side of the Kaloud Lotus very well. Flat ones that look a little like this. And slide it all the way into the slit on the side. Apply a little bit of pressure and you just want to firmly lift up on the Kaloud Lotus. As you can see, this bowl is not quite done. As you can see, there is like quite a bit of shisha that's burnt to the bottom of it. And this can actually be extremely hard to remove from the bottom of your Kaloud Lotus. Not only that, but over time, you'll start getting some black burnt residue and buildup on the bottom of this Kaloud Lotus. So we're actually going to show you some ways to get that clean and get your Kaloud Lotus looking new again. We're going to carry this in our coal carrier. Here we are at the sink. We're actually going to show you a little bit of how it is to actually clean your Kaloud Lotus and make sure that you're properly handling it. I have Andrew here helping me. He's going to show you guys the rope a little bit. So we have our coal carrier here. We want to make sure that we set our lid, which is actually still extremely hot. Go ahead and get it cool. Keep in mind that putting cool water or anything that's hot is going to cause a little bit of a sizzle and steam. This one not so much, but this has been sitting for a while. But you want to be very careful when you touch this to water. Not only get the juices and the coal residue and whatnot off the top of the lid, we also want to kind of cool it off a little bit so we can handle it later. So it's nice and cool now. We're going to go ahead and set that aside. So you also want to be very kind of careful whenever you're putting your Kaloud under hot water, because you will get a little bit of a sizzle to it, and so you want to make sure you don't burn yourself. So we run some water on there just to get it, cool it off. And as you can see the bottom, I mean, there's some shisha on the bottom. I mean, that's like a hard rock of shisha, and it actually gets harder. There's been points where it's just crispy. Well, those are actually pretty easy. You can just kind of chisel them off. We're going to take a butter knife or a fork or whatever you have handy, and we're just going to kind of knock off some of this shisha off the bottom of it. If it's cool enough, you can actually just use your fingers. But as you can see, I mean, this stuff is really caked on there. I mean, it's baked on. Rinse our sink out, cool it off, rinse all the excess off. As you can see, I mean, it's cool to the touch now. You can see this thing I mean, this stuff is baked on. It's gonna take a lot of scraping with a knife, and you might even risk scratching your device up pretty bad if you're not careful. Invest in a grout brush. You can find this in the hardware store in the painting section at your Walmart or whatnot. And it's basically a nylon brush that has very, very coarse bristles. That suds it up a little bit. You can let this sit for a little bit if you'd like, but we're just going to suds it up to try to break up some of this. He's just taking a brush and he's applying a little bit of water and soap. Again, you want to make sure you're using a nylon grout brush and not one of the metal brushes. But he's just kind of going in a circular motion. He's applying a lot of force. And you're just trying to get off that burnt stuff there. And this is something that's not required all the time. You just want to make sure that you're cleaning it after every, several sessions or so. It takes a little bit of time. We've actually been working on this for a long time, getting this as clean as we can. So basically what we want to do after we get it nice and clean, we just want to make sure we dry it off really good with a towel and then put it aside to dry. So we're good to go. Got a brand new clean Kaloud Lotus. Make sure you stay tuned for a full review of the Kaloud Lotus. And until next time, this has been Jake
and Andrew
with HookahAdvice, and you guys keep smoking.